Here's something I didn't see coming. Now, Honda and Nissan are talking about a merger. And since they talked about it, Nissan shares had their best day in 40 years. Because if one bad company looks like they're going to be bought by a bigger company, guess what happens? The stock of the bad company normally goes up, and the stock of the good company goes down. And of course, that's what happened. Nissan shares surged 24%, but Honda shares slipped 3%. Now realize Nissan, even with that addition, is only $5 a share. Honda's $25 a share, but that doesn't show that there's so many more shares of Honda out there than Nissan, and Honda's floating along pretty well. Nissan's on the verge of bankruptcy. I don't understand why Honda would get involved in taking over Nissan unless they want to pick and choose in certain areas. A lot of the tiny Nissan cars do big in Asia. Maybe they want to buy a certain area, like when Kmart and Sears merged. The reason they did is because there was a bunch of property in California that was worth money. So when they merged that property, they sold the stores and they got money for the property. They got a fortune for the property in California. So it was really a property deal more than a business deal between Sears and Kmart, thinking they're going to bring their stores back, which they aren't, right? In this case, who knows? Maybe Honda's got the idea, well, we can make money in Asia, maybe make a little money over here in South America, and then we'll just shut all the other Nissan plants down. Who knows what the idea is? From an outsider's perspective, it looks stupid because you got a good company, Honda, versus a crappy company, Nissan. You'd think, why would one want to take over the other? But there could be a lot of underlying reasons. They could be buying Nissan, like I said, and just gutting the company, seeing what's profitable, keep that, and then just throw the rest down the garbage can, which often happens when companies merge. Well, you can't make this up. A California company just recalled over 540,000 snow tires because of lack of traction in the snow. Now, they call it a California company, but it is the Brinks Qinshan Tire North America, so it is a Chinese tire company, but they're doing business here in the United States. If you own one of these, they're recalling the Fortune Tormenta and the Brinks High Country. Could you imagine calling a tire the Fortune Tormenta? I don't think I want a tire that's called Tormenta. It's like it's tormenting me. It doesn't work. It gets flats all the time. The Chinese, maybe they should have hired an American to name their tires instead of thinking of these crazy names themselves. Now, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said these tires are labeled as snow tires but lack sufficient traction to perform in all snow weather conditions. They are recalling 541,632 of these tires. Now, you're not going to be notified until February 1st, okay? This is still December as of when making of this video. Why you got to wait so long before they warn people? Hey, between now and February 1st, you usually get a lot of snow, right? Oh, well, they didn't warn me. The tires aren't working right. I don't understand how these laws work, but it's got to be absolutely hilarious. I warn people, don't buy Chinese tires, right? I warn people, do not buy them. Do not buy them. No quality. Well, in this case, they're selling snow tires, but they got one real problem. They don't work very well in the snow. Well, GM has another big recall. This is their electric Equinox EV, but it's not what you normally would think. They're recalling them because they don't make enough noise. Now, normally when you buy a new vehicle, and these are 2025 Chevy Equinox, brand new, you don't want them to make noise. But electric cars, by law, when they're going at lower speeds, have to make noise to warn pedestrians. Now, from my perspective, they let them have too much freedom with what type of noise they can make. Because I've seen them, some hum like angels, some make different noises. Hey, cars that have engines in them all make the same basic noise. Why didn't they just force them to make that same basic noise when they're going slow so people know it's a car? Because I've been walking in cities with people and they look at me and they say, what's that? I said, well, that's an electric car over there. By law, they have to make noise. But that person did not know that that was an electric car coming because they didn't know what that humming noise was. And in the case of these brand new Chevy electric vehicles, that noise, they said, wasn't loud enough to warn pedestrians. So you got to bring your EV in and they got to turn up the noise to make them make more noise. Imagine that. You buy a new car and it's too quiet. Sorry, we made it too quiet. We got to make it make more noise. But they do. And truthfully, like I just explained, I don't understand why it isn't law that they have to sound like a car. Because, I mean, they can make all kinds of noise. And if they're playing these little symphonies of singing angels, a lot of people, they don't know it's a car, and it's not really warning them that it's a car, right? They should have a standardized car noise that they all have to make. It would be logical, but then again, government never does anything that's logical, so that's probably never going to happen. Well, I always warn people about buying electric vehicles in cold climates. Well, here's an email from someone who did. They're pretty much saying they understand what I was talking about. Patrick Feeney says,